Back like we never left, B.D.A, and today we have One Piece chapter 942. Chapter is out, and we're going to talk about it. So I was going to wait and do something tomorrow, but I'm really excited about the chapter, so I wanted to talk about just how I feel about it and different things that happened in the chapter. So we're just going to get right to it, and this chapter starts off with Yasu, and Yasu back in the day in the past, and we find out that Yasu was a daimyo of Hakume, and we see Yasu and Oden, which I thought was actually pretty cool because Yasu seems to be like a Oden senpai in a way, like he was trying to guide Oden and put him on the right path. So I really enjoyed that with them. They gave us some more of Oden and some more of his silhouette. At this point, of course, Oda is saving Oden. He's saving Oden for the perfect reveal to see his full design. Based on what I saw this chapter, his design looks pretty dope. Looks like he has long hair, you know, going down his back. And his attitude is that of somebody that belongs in Kuri. We know he went to Kuri, liberated Kuri, beat Ashura Doji, all that stuff. His mindset was of, I don't want to be cramped in one place, because Yasu was saying, how you think you can't think the way you are because you're going to be the next shogun. Oden was saying, I don't want it. I want to leave. I want to set sail. And he was asking, why is it forbidden? Yasu got into information about it being an isolationist country and stuff. So we got some more information on Yasu and Oden, which I thought was perfect and was absolutely needed, because Yasu, in a way, we did not care that much about Yasu, right? We liked him. We thought he was cool, but we didn't care as much. We saw everything he did in the Bisu town and was with Zoro. However, we wanted some more exposition on his character, some flashbacks, some backstory, and we got exactly that. He also mentions after Oden had become a competent samurai, then he can talk about stuff like that. So this had to be back in the day, because Oden was so competent, he was able to defeat the strongest samurai in Kuri, which was Ashura Doji. So this was pretty early. They did not say how much longer or how long in the past it was. How further back in the past it was. They just said in the past. So we don't know how much time or how long it was back then. Anyway, we're back in the flower capital, the Retetsu district, and Yasu is about to be executed. And Yasu, I think Orochi is really a fool. And Yasu mentions this later in the chapter, in which he talks about how Orochi essentially gave him a platform, and Yasu, being a very noble, just person, we saw everything he was doing for the Bisu and just the citizens overall. And of course, based on what he was doing, we assumed that he was the witching arrow boy. Yasu did some dope stuff this chapter, in which he came out and, using the platform and everything being broadcasted, Yasu used that to his advantage. So first, he said he's not the witching arrow boy. All of us, or most people, said, okay, well, he confirmed it. He's the witching arrow boy. And now I'm starting to believe he probably isn't, because at this point, I think he's clearing the ear for a lot of people. However, what if he really is? Because here's the thing. If he says he isn't, because they're still out here looking for the witching arrow boy. Because we were talking about it earlier, and we're trying to figure out exactly what Yasu was lying about and what he was telling the truth about. So if he is the witching arrow boy, and he said he isn't, they would think the witching owl boy is still at large. So they're still expending forces searching for the witching owl boy. So that's throwing them off. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was lying about that. He talks about the crest and the mark that we have, and we know for a fact that he's lying about those things. So those things was squarely to just free up the mission of Momonosuke and the Kozuki family. That's all it was, because he's on this platform, right? And with everything that he's saying, it's putting doubt not only in the people of Wano and the people that's listening, but also in people that's directly working for Orochi, because they're saying, so we arrested all these people just because Orochi's panicking. And even the things he said about Wano, saying that, hey, Wano was built by us. It was built by the Kozuki family. And of course, I'm sure Orochi hasn't heard that in a while. And he said, it's built by the Kozuki family. Look how beautiful it is. The trees, everything is so vast. It was built by us. And Orochi came in and he corrupted everything with his greed. And for the people of Wano, or people people working for Orochi, even if they're doing well off, they can see that Wano has changed from what it used to be. Like, it's not as flourishing, or it's not flourishing the way it once did. So the things that Yasu was saying is probably how a lot of people were feeling, but they can't say it in front of Orochi because Orochi is a fool and he'd probably execute anyone that opposes him. And honestly, Kirishiro used that against him, in which he executed Komurasaki in his honor, in Orochi's honor, saying that, hey, I have to do this. I'm doing it for you. I'm not doing it because I want to do it. I'm doing it so that because she disrespected you. And because of Orochi and being so prideful, he didn't even want to stop it because he's like, damn, he's right. I gotta look good for these people. So people around Orochi take advantage of him because he's a fool. Yasu also managed to confirm that Orochi was able to become shogun because of underhanded tactics, saying that he used cheap tricks to steal the title away from Oden. Honestly, we all felt that because of how Orochi was, his temperament, and it's how he went about things, even when he was meeting with CP0, and how he tried to flex on them because Kaido was backing him. And he went into Kaido and saying, Kaido, well, Orochi asked all the daimyo if they would take up their swords for him, and it flashed to Shutamaru, which I thought was perfect. Shutamaru is there as well. He's seeing everything. And we flashed to Big Mom, and Big Mom's not even in Udon yet. That's another thing. She's in Udon, but she's not at the prison yet. So that's going to take a while for Big Mom to get there, apparently. But as far as everything Orochi did, he went to the daimyo and he asked them, hey, would you take up arms for me? And everybody said no, and they went against to take him down, and everybody that was with him and conspiring against the Kozuki family, and Kaido was the one that stopped them. And we were talking about everything that happened that night, you know, with Toko and Momonosuke and everybody coming forward 20 years, right? We somewhat came to the conclusion that Oden was probably the one that gave Kaido the scar. We went back and we looked at it, and it's pretty vague as far as if Kaido had the scar back then. So more than likely, Oden is the one that gave Kaido the scar, because Oden is being hyped up to be a very powerful character, and based on the exposition we're getting on him and how basically how strong this story is saying he is, being a part of Roger's crew, having Congress Haki, beating the strongest samurai in Kuri, which was a really rough place. Oden's going to be pretty powerful, and for him to go against Kaido, Shutamaru went against Kaido and didn't die. So Oden, I can't wait to see more of Oden and how Oda plans to reveal him. But in this chapter, Yasu just exposed Orochi, and again, people on Yasu's side, even other people saying, yeah, Orochi's a coward. How could he even do anything like this? I think at this point, this is the catalyst. Like I mentioned last week, or the week before that, because he had a break, and we have another break this week. I mentioned that this chapter could be the catalyst for a lot of great things to come. And Yasu mentioned in this chapter, everything he was doing was for the cause. And he said he's using his feeble life to make sure that Momonosuke flourishes, becomes the next shogun. He was doing everything to make sure that everything gets back on track. He mentions no one was able to take Kaido's head for 20 years, but we knew that because Kaido has been occupying Wano ever since everything went down back then, and we know that they jumped forward 20 years and Kaido's still occupying Wano, so nobody was able to take his head, but I'm not sure who was able to challenge him. Wano is not a country that's open, so I'm not sure if a lot of people are going to Wano, but who was able to challenge Kaido to take his head? So for 20 years, Kaido has been there as the guy over Wano, so I think it's time for somebody to take him down. That's pretty much what Orochi's or Yasu is saying. We see some ex-Drake, and ex-Drake, he is just there in the capital, just trying to maintain order. And they even mentioned that they did not expect Yasu to be as well liked as he is. We saw the people from Ibisu there trying to raid and stop everything that's going on. Zoro, Toko, Komurasaki, they're all headed there. And because Yasu is a very liked person, Zoro, with his limited interactions that we saw, I like the fact that Zoro got there and he saw exactly what Yasu was trying to do, because Zoro, as a character, he's really good at deducing things and seeing the objective behind things. So for him seeing that and just stopping, right, and not interfering, it was a good thing, because Yasu, based on everything he said, everything he did, and the purpose of it, I feel like it's perfect for him to actually die. I know people are questioning, even me. I hope he's dead. I really hope he's dead, because if he doesn't die, it takes away from this moment. This moment, it's captivating and it's touching. Of course, us as viewers, we didn't see a lot of Yasu, so we don't care that much, right? But we care. Him being dead is perfect for the story, and it's a great catalyst to progress the plot forward. Again, we see Toko and Komurasaki, they're in the capital. Another deduction was that maybe Komurasaki is the witching hour boy. She was taking money from Bingo, Bogo, and Bongo, right? She was taking money from them, so she could be the one that's distributing the money around the town. And the fact that Yasu trusted Toko with Komurasaki, and because he was the former daimyo, he should probably know who Komurasaki is, but then it has to go back to Kiyoshiro, and Kiyoshiro knowing that Komurasaki's dead, is Kiyoshiro, has he been working with Yasu this entire time? Because he struck down Komurasaki, but Komurasaki's obviously alive. So it's a lot to digest. This chapter was just really full of dialogue, and not useless dialogue, a lot of important stuff giving us context. Yasu said that Orochi's soldiers, Orochi's words won't reach his his soldiers anymore. So even if they're complying, they're really going to be questioning everything he's saying because of what Yasu said. And Yasu, being that well liked, has so much credibility. It's like, damn, the people believe him that much, we got to believe him too, right? And a lot of people that's working for Orochi, they know how Yasu was back then. Being a man of honor, it goes such a long way. Probably the most important part of the chapter was, or to me at least, was after Yasu died and we see Yasu getting shot, riddled with bullet holes, and he's supposedly dead, right? We see Toko, she's crying, and the people of Ibisu Town, they're crying, but they're still laughing. So then we see Kurosaki in the signature end of chapter One Piece pose, and she goes up to Zoro, and she's on Zoro, and she says it's because Kaido brought smile to this world, and they're unable to show anything other than smiling because of the smile that Kaido brought to the country. So a lot of people were looking at it saying, is this metaphorical? Is it literal? And for me, I think it's probably literal, like where she's saying the smile and the smile being there, and maybe some effects of it had something to do with the people of Ibisu Town or Ibisu, their emotions. Because remember Bongo and those guys, they got banished to Ibisu. So Ibisu is somewhat of a punishment place, somewhere that you send people where it can be a pleasant thing, right? So if you're sending people and punishing people by sending them there, I would think that there's something nefarious going on in Ibisu, right? The thing is that also ties this in is like you got SAD to make smile, then you have the Vin Smoke and them not having emotions, and emotions has played a part in this entire thing with the artificial devil fruits or artificial humans, and I guess the lineage factors. It's a lot going on there, so I'm really interested to see what the official translation says, because once that gives me kind of confirmation on what it's possibly saying, because as good as Japanese box is, the official translation gives you direct, just like almost word for word, a good interpretation of what they're trying to say. So once I get that, then I can do some more research to probably make a video on smile and a possible connection to what Kurosaki had said. I think that's pretty much it. It's a lot more I can deep dive into, but I'm going to save it for the official translations. And based on what that tells me, then I can do another video talking about what transpired here. So guys, leave your thoughts below. How did you feel about the chapter? How do you think about how Yasu went out? How do you feel about the entire smile thing at the end of the chapter? What do you feel about that? So leave your thoughts below. Make sure to like, subscribe if you have not. That would be dope. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.